even saying that.
Well, the reason the White House supposedly wouldn't be there in the Senate to do that.
Why would they? Why would they? There's
But y'all was stepping up saying that we need it, right? You're saying that.
Of course we
and
need
we
it.
do need it, regardless if they. It's not everything. Everybody is considered a minority now. Everybody's jumping on the minority train when they found out that there are certain provisions and guidelines and policies that are carved out. Before that, you couldn't get a nigga to be a minority. Now everybody wants to be a minority. So the white women, they were gonna find. They were gonna find a way to get some benefits out of everything that was slated through the Civil Rights Acts. So I mean, well, why are we just gonna throw the baby away with the bathwater? If we have some examples of black women who leveled up, then hey, let's take those wins. We're not gonna be able to get everything.
I'm just trying to benefit
until you start running shit. That's the only time you're gonna be able to say, well, it's black only.
But even then, Robert, let me ask you this, Robert. Let me ask you this. So if you see,
Jim, I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry, I thought you.
No, that's this last thing. And when we tried to do that, what was the group of black women who got sued by Stephen Miller for trying to offer grants or scholarships, I'm not sure, to black small business, to female black SBAs? What happened to them? They sued the shit out of these ladies to give it back to their own. So we have to come up with strategies where that kind of shit doesn't happen. Because they want us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, okay, so be it. But once we do it, don't try to sue us. We're helping the same people that you don't want to fuck with.
You're talking about the Fuels Fund. So yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I
Go ahead,
the point is that these same ladies who benefited from this, they are absolutely not going to mention the fact that they were already doing okay. But everybody piggybacks off of our fucking culture, man. Everybody piggybacks off of us. Everybody fucking jumps in the bandwagon all the work without great civil rights leaders have done over the years. They just jump on the fucking bandwagon. They ain't do no kind of work or nothing. They just jump on it, and I'm sick of it.
I understand the frustration, and I'm not disregarding that.
You sound like MAGA, Robert. You sound like a MAGA motherfucker.
No, you don't sound like him. I agree with Robert, but I don't think that would be a real, like, it's like if you're running a race and you got something you do, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you won't stop the race. You don't get rid of the program just because some white women are benefiting also when we really have Americans that need it.
It's going to be what you're talking about is got to be in the course of legislation. Legislation has to impact everyone. You cannot make legislation.
It's not even legal to do so.
Well, that's what I'm referring to. You can't do that. So if it's going to happen via legislation, you can imagine, you can just assume that everybody's going to benefit from it, and disproportionately, people who are already in position to take advantage of it are going to benefit from it the most.
Hey, Quinn, to take it a step further, there were a lot of white people that found out they had a couple percent of Indian in them and went after the Indian programs, the programs that were dedicated to Indians, right? The Indians aren't going to say cut the program. Fucking couple white people got in. Like, they're not going to do that. It doesn't make sense. No.
These same white women are not going to pursue the program. They'll see what we benefit from it.
We're not asking them to. We don't like them getting through what they did. As long as we're getting what we need, sometimes people are going to run through the same door. We can't stop that, but we don't close the fucking door.
Well, I mean, what we have to do is, listen, this is an ongoing fight, brother. Like, Lisa gave a great example of the Fearless Fund, where we were trying to do something that had nothing to do with legislation. It had to do with being able to fund our businesses via our money. So they were able to find a loophole. It wasn't Stephen Miller. It was actually another, I forget his name.
Asian guy?
No, he's not Asian. I'll look up his name, but I forget his name. He's an attorney. Sorry, because he files cases. He filed a case in affirmative action as well. He had to participate in that legislation. But I mean, I'm just saying in general, that is the way that they go about. That's obviously being facetious, but it is a way to be able to slow down our efforts when it comes to doing that. So we have to be able to push back on those things. What we too often do is give up on it, and we don't actually push back on it. Now that is being done, it's because we don't see it on TV, doesn't mean it's not being done.
What's it enough to do? is fund. Field is fund.
That's it, Mr. Dunn. Thank you, brother.
Wait, they were designed to invest in certain things, right? Some white people got a wind of it, got a hold of it, and they said it's discriminatory, this is that. We were funding ourselves, we know our characteristics, and we know where to put our money, and we were prevented from doing that. And I believe, Lisa, they used a case study based around an Asian group of people. If I remember correctly, like what happened in Fields Fund, we should really.
So what you're talking about Edward Bloom argued that the program was discriminatory and violated Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866.
They use it against us, yeah.
Which prohibits racial discrimination in contracting.
That's
Right. So I mean, but yes. So I mean, it's again, you're going to get. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because there's grounds for it technically in legislation, obviously, but the good thing about that is that you have to find pushbacks or find workarounds and ways to be able to do those things the same way that they've done to us to a large degree. But I mean, again, I keep stressing that this is a fight. It's going to be a fight. They're not going to concede power, so we can't get discouraged about what happens, even though it's very easy to. You know, I hear that, and you and I listen to that. We get tired of having to fight that fight. I get it, I understand, but we have to start to lightly to Gemini's point. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep pushing back against those things so that eventually we can stress test that system and continue to find out where it's weak, which is generally everywhere. But I mean, it works for a certain group of people. That's why they're not pushing back on it. They don't think that it's really, they don't think it's real. They don't think it really. Advantageous to try to they don't find it advantageous to destroy because they benefit from it. So you can say, listen, it's in place. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just living the way I live, but that's a convenient position to take when it benefits you. Now, if it wasn't, you'd be on our side of the equation trying to make it work for you.
Fields Fund, hold on, weren't they private?
Right here in Atlanta.
Wait, Fields Fund, aren't they private?
Yeah.
Keisha Knight and some other.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know. Even though they had government contracts, I don't remember that. But I remember them being independent of that. So, but I don't remember them being like associated with government contracts.
They're not.
Yeah, and that's the sadness that so all of us get together and write about what our mission statement is. Our mission statement can be denied because Caucasian people feel that we're discriminating against Caucasian and we're not hiring them. So which is it? We can't hire our own. We're forced to hire you. Like, this is crazy. Y'all should check that case out. So those that don't know, I suggest you guys dive into the case behind the Fields Fund and how they were undermined by
it's not gone. It's just been suspended. Now I know that's just a formality with us. Either it's going or it ain't. But it's ongoing legislation. It's not done yet. At least last time I checked, it wasn't. So
and this New York is when I'm gonna tell you. I remember the lady speaking to Mrs. Harris, right when she was running that sister's dope. She's a dope sister, and I think when she brought it to Miss Harris's
area.
Yeah, I remember that they was talking, and Miss Harris kind of downplayed it. Like I don't know, even though she was familiar with the case, but there's a popular clip out there where you see the two talking in the hallway. And I don't think Miss Harris was really up on the case, but she didn't respond in a passionate way to what the woman, I can't remember her name, was saying to her about the case that was just going before the courts, etc., etc., etc. I think Miss Harris recommended one of her aides gets the woman's number, this kind of thing, but she was not privy of what the details of the case was. So you can find that clip out there.
She was also on camera too, so like you don't do this. That's one thing you do not do with politicians,
But the point is, she just completely looked like she was off guard and wasn't knowledgeable about.
I'm saying she's gonna look like that because she's on camera. So I mean, there's a lot of games. Listen, people say what they want to about Kamala Harris. She's a seasoned politician and she's a brilliant.
I'm not
Y'all be glazing these politicians, man. That's crazy.
Glazing. Glazing.
saying is on this.
She's that's borderline.
Hey, scamming? No, I'm live streaming.
Articulated about her. Come on, yo, what are you talking about?
Can I finish?
You're not articulating about that woman.
You had knee pads on for Donald Trump. Shut the fuck up.
He's not the most articulate one that never lies. He's the most articulate person either. Why are we letting somebody with Omar's thinking capacity derail? That's borderline sipping, Quinn. Come on, bro. I just want to say, I'm so ashamed that I ever aligned with Omar. Hey, man, it is what it is, Gemini. Robert, go ahead, Robert.
The only person on here who really can articulate what I'm expressing is Gemini. And he's the only person that understands how I think and it helps me clarify and all that. The rest of you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I promise you I don't need y'all help. The only one person I need.
Yeah.
I definitely can't articulate it.
I would never say Donald Trump articulates
That's the
anything.
fuck
That
up.
was crazy.
Can I give the man his props? Can I give somebody their props?
Absolutely. Especially on Bad Sunday.
He's
Absolutely.
so as
I
I said,
agree with this.
Kamala
I'm just
Harris is a
recognizing.
brilliant politician. She's a brilliant woman.
I'm capable of expressing
Yeah, I'm saying she's articulate, though. I'm saying she's articulate.
I'm capable of expressing myself. Sometimes I get
She's quite articulate. Word
Sometimes
salads, come on. Do you know
Mama,
her?
shut the fuck up.
Alright, y'all got it. Y'all grumpy on there. I just don't like talking to you. Stupid. I mean, I don't have any common ground with you at any point. I think you're
You
stupid.
know what I
That's
want you to do?
no reason
I
for me.
want you to go to fucking Diddy's house, put the fucking oil in your punk ass meat.
Oh my God.
Oh, no. Who said that? Who said that?
CJ said that down here, guys. Just waiting for a while to get out from Martin. Two brain cell ass sitting up here talking this entire time. Shut the fuck up and let people talk.
What's that?
Shit.
I don't even know that. Who's this new character?
Stop talking, CJ.
Character unlocked. Character unlocked. Now,
CJ ain't no fucking character.
I never heard of him. Who was it?
Shut up. CJ, hearing your fucking balls.
Yo,
Y'all keep listening and listening
somebody
to
get
you.
brother an oxygen mask.
Just ask CJ what he's talking about. CJ, who you're not hearing? Who do you need to hear?
Oh, I'm not. I hear Omar clear as day with his annoying two brain cell ass sitting up there screaming up the damn fucking
I
mic.
think I said you're right. This is a
Hey, can somebody get Brooklyn an oxygen mask, man?
this is a really
Okay,
good
stop
conversation.
One mic, y'all talking over Lisa. Let her say what she's saying, man.
CJ, I was listening to him. He said he's hearing only one voice, and what else, CJ? What he?
Well, no. I'm saying this is a really good conversation and like some really good stuff I'm just listening to. But every fucking time there's like a good conversation. Omar with your two brain cell ass.
I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what this is.
Have an opinion about something. How about
Let's see what you got to say.
because that's all you're gonna have for Donald Trump.
Let's see your comments. Let's hear your comments.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's hear your articulations.
The only thing you're gonna be articulated on is on Trump's dick. That's the only thing you're gonna. Wow. That's the only thing. Everybody else is talking fucking solutions for our damn community, and all you have is Trump's dick.
Wow.
Yeah, y'all doing a lot of glazing today.
You are the
Guys.
You are the dirty.
I don't even know who this new character is. CJ, we really, sincerely, man, I don't mean to be like this. We have to really learn to ignore people. I mean, sincerely, really just talk through him. Because he's trolling the conversation because he can't contribute to it any other way. So what we can just continue to do, just talk around him. And, and if he gets too disruptive, just remove him from the stage. He'll sit in the audience like all the other degenerates and listen to the conversation. Hey, Quinn, you're a simp, man. I just want to let you know that. So, let me clarify that. Let me clarify that. Not everybody in the chat is a degenerate. There's some very bright people there. He's just not one. And Quinn is very good. We can just let that happen. Let the conversation talk. Yeah, let's not touch it more. See how I'm just ignoring it. And we'll just keep talking about who actually say something. I'm going to never say this in a barbershop to a man.
Just swipe through his picture so y'all can check out his stuff.
I'm good, man.
How you feel right now?
I feel great. I got
They gonna snatch the fuck. They gonna snatch the fuck out of her.
Okay, I got $170 million in ice. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm
You got contracts, sir? Is that what it is? You got contracts?
Listen, 170 billion. We all eating.
You didn't get 170 million from anything.
Stop.
You asked me, I gave you an answer. You got
You are truly dumb.
Who got 117 billion? He didn't.
170 billion in an ice bill, what makes ICE the largest law enforcement agency ever.
I don't think I'm get your round ass for that.
Hold on.
Yeah, put in the
How
chat.
does that, Omar, how does that benefit you or the economy?
Oh, hey, first of all, it ain't necessarily about me. It's money, it's contracts.
No,
All it's contracts, facilities gotta get made. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm a contractor at the end of the day, bro. I'm a contractor.
So facilities got to
You were an electrician the other
I'm a
day.
contractor, yes, I'm a contractor.
You're not.
So facilities got to get built for you to go in because you
Listen, every building needs engineering, right? That's true.
Because those are the real Americans, according to Trump. So you probably get put in it, but you ain't gonna build it. So I don't understand what you're
That's true. I have a skill set. Brooklyn, stop doing that.
all of the Mexicans got a skill set too. They're actually better than you. What are you talking about?
Why would they hire you?
You got a skill set too. Because all of the Mexicans that they put in there got a skill set too.
Not in Pennsylvania. There's gonna be union jobs. What are you talking about?
Some doesn't see that clearly.
Trump doesn't like aliens. You a slow ass bitch. Like, I never met a slow bitch.
Listen, 170 billion. Get to the
Like, you are the
business.
slowest motherfucker I've ever met, for real. I understand why you voted for Trump because you're truly dumb. You really
Hey, man, I got my chance. I got what I wanted.
What did you want that he gave? What did you want?
Crazy.
You just saying that to make yourself feel better.
I'm really that's contract. I can tell you I'm slow, so explain to me what they did that you actually consider your in-house or was it early ass around
Just, what was my number one issue, Judge?
all you can round up is donuts.
Just, what was my number one issue this election?
Some fuck ass duck list to get worse. That's the actual question.
It should have been healthcare because you need a brain scan.
It was immigration. I told you that. Come on, that's
How dare you? You look like an immigrant.
No.
You look fresh off the boat, G.
Definitely look like he's another plan. You pay for Regina in Colombia. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I paid for it in New York City too. So what's your point?
Y'all see that photo? Tell me that girl don't look 16 behind her.
Now y'all just corny right now. Y'all just real. Come on, man. I thought you was better than that.
Check out that photo.
Man, I thought man, you don't want me going on you, man. Stop
You can go in on me.
No, man.
Hold on. Don't do that. Omar, let me save you right now. Don't do that. Let me shut your bitch ass up. Let me ask you this though. Hey, Omar,
Corny like that.
who deported more? Let me ask you this, Omar, since you concerned with immigrants, I'm sure that's it.
Yeah, y'all gotta stay on top of it, man.
Because he need to.
Yeah, that was corny. Yeah, I think I saw a better time, Jack. That was corny.
Why? It's corny that you like
You guys do this, right? You've been concerned with immigration, so I assume it's not something relatively new. It's something that you've probably been on consistently in the past. So who deported more, Trump or Obama?
Obama, for sure, Obama, man.
He deported triple the amount that Trump has. You realize
Fact,
that?
that's a fact.
So then why are you so Trump right now?
I told you why.
That picture, Quinn.
We understand Kamala's not.
He did it without the controversy.
Yeah, but Obama's not on the ballot either, though, Gemini. What are we talking about?
the conversation.
He has derailed the conversation.
Let's hear what Brooklyn got to say. Let's hear her article.
I'm listening. What you should do is listen and ask questions instead of talking, right? That's what people that aren't informed do. They
I'm probably 30 times more informed than you are. Come on, Brooklyn, don't get that wrong. You've been on a lot of my stages. I had hundreds of rooms. You had nothing to conversation today. Come on. I know you from season 2, Brooklyn. Come on, Brooklyn. Don't do that, Brooklyn. I know you from season 2. You had zero conversation. All you do is talk about black men and black women all day. That's all.
That's all. So
He's a gender war queen. That's what she's
I blame his fucking mother not following him.
I blame his community. No, you got you.
What's CJ, man? Who is this new character, man?
Bitch, I ain't new. How about that? I ain't new. Now what?
This is wild, man.
No, he don't. So I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. Like he said his room with hundreds of people.
You know what, new?
I did hundreds of rams. Brooklyn knows too. Yeah, Brooklyn knows. I don't do rums no more because I let y'all have it. I let y'all get tired. I'm like, let y'all have it. I let the new crowd do it. You gotta let them go sometimes.
Can we move on?
Yes, can you shut up? God damn.
I didn't try Brooklyn.
What kind of nasty ass sandwiches is in your PTR? What the fuck?
Not supposed to see what we don't know, please. That's like, that's weird.
All that fucking food be looking nasty. You don't gotta do it. It's tablet is ridiculous. But anyway, can y'all continue because it was a good conversation and I was just listening because that's what people do.
I was actually enjoying my discourse with Glenn. Glenn left.
Me too, I was enjoying it.
Okay, so I'm confused. What were you guys even talking about?
It left off with kind of in the middle. Lester, I remember we were talking about Robert and I, we were discussing the Fearless Fund. We were talking about how the young lady, I think Ayana, I forgot Ayana's last name, and Arian Foster were actually speaking to Kamala Harris in during her campaign time on TV when she was talking about when she was explaining the Fearless Fund to them. And my point to Robert was that the reason why Kamala was responding that way more than likely was because she knows that she's on camera. She's a savvy politician. She's a smart lady, and that's the reason why she responded that way. So the reason why even if she knew about it, she probably would have had the same reaction. But her discussion off camera would be completely different with them, and I'm sure it has at this point. I'm sure she's probably lending any help she can to making sure that they can fight that legislation because it's not completely gone. It's just suspended for the moment, but it's not gone.
What do you say to the article that's in Fortune magazine about them lining up with this other group? Posted the article in the chat. White female group in a relationship to do the same thing.
I didn't see that. I'll read that. I didn't see that.
And that let the fucking weirdo just derail everything. Conversations.
Yeah, but the way you do that is just keep talking. I mean, and if need be, you just move them if you need to. So but yeah, I think that's really honestly the reason why she responded the way that she did. But I think that she's I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. I think the grounds for that legislation, for them terminating that legislation, was, let me see it, I had it up because I was reading it too. It says a lawsuit is ongoing. The grant program has been suspended, and the Fearless Fund has faced intense scrutiny and criticism. The case has raised concerns about the future of DEI initiatives and the legal challenges they face.
Robert said you know the girl. PTR, Robert.
Richard, what was the name of the fund? Did you put it? I don't see it in the chat.
Back in now.
Okay.
I have to look back at the name.
Somebody else called you
Hello, Alice, small business.
Oh, Alice. I am familiar with that. That came into prominence during, well, at least I wouldn't let me say prominence, but that came into my sphere during the pandemic. I have heard that. Yes, sir.
The thing is that in order to be legitimate, that's the way I'm interpreting it. Again, I try not to get into the weeds of this.
Well, not legitimate. I know what you mean, but not legitimate. But being able to find a way around the legislation, meaning that it can be for, it doesn't look like it's targeting just black women, but and because and Johnny said this too, that they were taking the grounds for which Bloom filed the suits, that they were taking grants. And clearly they were taking government grants. So if it was being funded, now this is also the point, Richard. If it was, not Richard, but Robert, if it was being funded via private sector, would they still have a problem?
I think it's all in the problem, in this climate, it's about the problem, the public propaganda, not necessarily the action. It's a lot of, black directed foundations and funds, and I'm with, only with the images you see, when they do promote, how the imagery how this individuals or this group of individuals are promoting themselves. Because it came out to be for black women, I believe. As something that was being directed to black women for, in the public, as a part of the public discourse in this political moment. That's where the Bloom and team, once again used it for their propaganda use. My concern is with Bloom. When you look behind Bloom, and I think it's somebody, people have brought it up in this room, also in this house, these foundations ain't no joke that are supporting this person who's a lawyer. So you're not really going up against just some, righteous individual who was dealing with DEI. You're going up against, a well-financed machine that is,
But you still can't, even if I sue you, it has to be on the grounds or something. And it has to be on the grounds, that the fund was taking grants specifically for issuing grant money to black businesses. So essentially what it's saying is you're taking everybody's money and just funneling it to black people. So there had to be grounds there had to be something within and I haven't read it, and I haven't read it completely, but I'm saying there has to be something in the fearless fund projection that says that it's doing this specifically for African American businesses.
The point of it, there's always going to be a loophole. That's not my issue. Your point is correct as far as I'm concerned, in the sense that there had to be grounds in order to, marshal this case. The thing that I'm looking at is that there's a
these organizations do is they're looking for funding. Well, they'll accept rather government funding. None of them are funded primarily, or not, I would say primarily because I know that they're not funded. Most of them are not funded primarily by private business, by private entities. Like a lot of them take government money and under the guise that they're going to be doing work for people in the world. But obviously, when you're taking government money in general, which you know, which is supposed to obviously be all of our money, then you can't just funnel that through based on the case that he filed. You can't just funnel that to African American businesses. That has to be privately funded in some way. And I probably think that's the way that they were able to find the loophole. I mean, otherwise it would be an uphill battle because you can't tell people obviously to do with their private money. So where they were able to make it. I was reading the Fearless Fund. I think they've changed it since its original. But it looks like, I mean, obviously it looks like mostly women of color within the team. But I mean, at some point it was dealing directly with just black women, and that was the grounds on which they filed the case.
What is this whole Atlas thing that y'all talking about in the chat? I don't understand.
So Hello Alice is the company apparently that they're trying to partner with now, so that it, I guess in a nutshell, so it doesn't look like it's just a program for black women. So more than
Did the original lawsuit include Hello Alice? So there was a white woman.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was 3 of them. It was Keisha Knight.
Yeah, I know Keisha's on it. And it's Erin. I forget what this girl's name. It's Ayana. I know it's Ayana something. I can't think of her last name. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know Hello Alice was on it. So.
Yeah, she was on it because she was getting threats. Her and Ariana, whatever. Ayana, yep. They were getting those death threats and stuff behind this lawsuit. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I'm trying to figure out what was I guess we have to read that. What was the grounds for the lawsuit? Oh, it says the AAER, I guess that's Edward Bloom's company, claimed that a grant that the Fearless Fund created for black women entrepreneurs discriminated against non-black founders. So I mean, they had to participate in that though, if that was the case, right?
What do you mean?
Meaning it said that the case was they claimed that a grant that the Fearless Fund created for black.
So they did that fund was for black women.
I mean, but against non-black founders. So people that were part of the grant.
No, it was because only black women could apply for it. That was their basis of discrimination.
And it's heartbeat, right? Why is it that when a black person like, do they sue Jewish, like, fundraising, charities for supporting only Jewish only organizations or Jewish only people? Like, why do they only do that to black people when we have something they sue us? But Asians have their own, like, funds, and Jews have their own funds, and, yada yada, so on and so forth. But why, when only black people have it, it's discriminatory if nobody else is involved? That's crazy. How is that even fucking legal? Like, how is it even possible to be sued for supplying your own people with your own donations? That's crazy. Start suing for just regular shit. Give me an idea and give me somebody to sue.
Well, that was it.
At this point, it's like lawsuits just come out the ass for no reason at all. And I want to sue somebody. That's what the fuck.
Well, you can do that actually. So it says here, it says according to the
Yeah, I took right
it
now.
says it did file the lawsuit against the Fearless Fund on behalf of other founders. So according to the AAER, they brought the case on August 2nd, 2023 on behalf of 3 unnamed members who allegedly been eligible to apply for the Fearless Strivers grant, but were excluded solely when they weren't black women, when they aren't black women. The grant's stated criteria. So the AER claimed that the exclusion violated a statute which prohibits race-based discrimination in contracting. The
Very Judas move. That was a very Judas move. I mean, plants.
That's an interesting take. I never even would have thought about that. That's an interesting thought.
I've seen situations where people, and this happens more in like housing associations. Sometimes people will come in to say we want to support their actual plans, and then once they get into a certain position, then they do what they can to dismantle the whole piece. And I wouldn't think this administration is not far enough or ignorant enough not to use that type of thing. Because why would again, like you say, why would a founder who came in there and built this the way it is, all of a sudden say, okay, now that we're established, now money's going in, we want to sue them for discriminating against. When you literally voted for the bylaws to state that specific what you were supporting. That makes no sense.
Well, there were 3 non-black women, and they claimed that they were harmed by the race-based eligibility restriction. But the grant, and even Johnny said this in the chat, the grant itself was sought on behalf of black women. That was the purpose of the grant itself. So it accused the fund of racial discrimination since the eligibility was restricted to black women. A non-black founder would have been unable to compete for the same terms. And it says here on that it agreed to a settlement and permanently shut down the targeted grant program. I was trying to think how they thought they would actually, they should have had some attorneys on board to understand what they were getting grants for. Like, 'cause how would you think you would do that?
Unless that was a plan. I'm telling you, people will sometimes infiltrate. And that could have been the plan from the jump, but who knows?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You leave yourself open to that in general, don't you? Whether they came on and even, let's say they agreed, they were trying to do this as they were allies. You still leave yourself open for that, though.
Hey, Quinn, this is Pierre. I think given Trump's bold statements about affirmative action, I think I like what Dan just brought up, because I think given what Trump has done, given all that, every time that they put some sort of PR out, it's always it's the unfair and corrupt DEI. We need to put it out. I think that is encouraged what Dan was suggesting, that idea that people are to take on to actually actively go after groups. You need to be doing something, and it's not above board to somebody to try that type of stuff too. I'm sure people have to be thinking about this now, given what's happening.
Yeah, but then you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if I don't hire them, that's also a point of discrimination, right? If I don't include other people in the program, then I'm also subject to that same thing. If my program looks like it's all black women, or even if I'm trying to be, I'm trying to dance around that, I have some women who aren't African American, maybe, API or, something, women of color in general.
Yeah, I hear you.
But that means that you're not an ally, and at that point, how come you just didn't remove yourself? Like, you're going above and beyond when you're trying to sue, right? Like that's more deliberate, that's more, I would even say strategic for a very specific value. I mean, like, how was the other party harmed in a substantive way that makes it seem like I gotta get this money back or we need to dismantle this? It doesn't make any sense unless that was a plan.
Yeah, I would add also too. I think that I hear what you're saying, Clint, of the damn you do, that you don't. I think if you're for any organization, you worry about the processes you have that affirms what you're trying to do. So like if I was running an organization, I would worry more about the hiring process, make sure that is as robust as it can be. And as far as like infiltrators, that's always I mean, it can happen, but you don't worry about that in the same way. It's kind of almost like, you're opening a business, but not ever expecting, you do expect that some customers will be unsatisfied, that someone might sue you, but you don't base your operations around that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you make it kind of the target, and you mean that just kind of ends up happening, but you still run into it. But I mean, you can get more done if that's not the mission statement, and it just happens to be the target, the unspoken target, versus stating that this is what it is and then going about it that way.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Basically, if it's unstated, you just do it without saying that that's what you're doing.
Hey y'all, can y'all hear me?
Hey, yeah, what's up, Jimmy?
Hey, so this is how you do it. Like they do this like in the cannabis industry, like their social equity program. You're real specific in how you define who are the eligible applicants to these grants. Like in some of these social equity programs where they're giving special consideration for people to apply for licenses, they either do it by historical elements, like you have to be from a certain area, which during a certain specific time period, which by looking at those 2 points, that would primarily speak to a certain group of people. Right. For example, in New Jersey, they have a grant that is for film and media that the state has offered up to give marginalized people an opportunity to get into film and media, because Netflix is spending millions and millions of dollars in their new facility that they're opening, and to give these people that ordinarily would not have that pathway for entry jobs, they've offered a grant, and they're giving special consideration. You don't have to have in your grant proposal that you're targeting this specific group of people, but they have specifically said in the instructions that you will get greater consideration if your grant if your program is offered to, and I'm using air quotes, they're calling it overburdened populations, and by overburdened, they have a link to a map that shows specific areas in the state that they're considered overburdened, and by overburdened, they look at 3 elements, and those 3 elements are that population being below the poverty line by a certain percentage. They look at the education level in that area, and they look at if the household speaks, if English is not the primary language in that household. So you have to be real specific. I'm just using that as an example of how you have to word it, so that you're not saying, oh, I just want this for black people, or I just want this for brown people, or I just want this for seniors. But that's how you do it.
That's it. Why do you think they didn't approach it that way?
Why didn't they? Because they don't want the money taken.
That makes sense. And it would have disappeared almost immediately.
Immediately. It's like that grant that they're doing that for, for this first round, they're giving applicants anywhere from $250,000 to